My wife Anna is also 35 years old, and I am 35 years old. We got married 5 years ago after dating for 2 years. Before a year ago, everything was fine between us until my wife suddenly developed a cheap taste. Just so you know, my wife works in business and I'm a sales manager. We all make enough money to live a good life, and we were happy with the way things were going. But over the last year, my wife's picks have gone from good to expensive. To give you an example, if she wanted a bag, she would choose one from a well-known, expensive brand with a big name over one that is good value for money. It's okay for me to spend money, but $300 for a bag. For $100, you can get a respectable one. One of my wife's close friends married a rich businessman, and he seems to have showered her with money. This made my wife act differently. That friend was always bragging about how nice her new things were, which made my wife, Anna, want to develop the same taste. Things like our house, car, and vacation spots were all put next to those of her friends. I tried to talk sense into her, but she acted like a fifth grader who wants the same things as her rich friend. I thought this was just a phase and that she would come out in the end, but I could be wrong. I've noticed a big change in my wife's clothing in the last 5 to 6 months. It made sense when there were only a few clothes, bags, and cologne bottles there before. It's easy to save money and buy a lot of expensive things. In the past 5 to 6 months, she has totally changed her wardrobe. Everything she wore, from her shoes to her clothes, was a well-known brand. Because I was interested, I asked her if she got a raise, and she said yes. When I asked her how much, she just shrugged and said that her base pay hadn't changed because she was getting good things in return. I was wondering if the reward amount would be enough to cover so much. I didn't dig deeper into this because she would make me feel bad that I couldn't give her a fancy life while asking her when she was living it on her own. I decided not to dig because she had done this before. I was interested the whole time, but I didn't tell anyone. But secrets are found in their own unique ways. A month ago, I was looking through my closet for some papers. I looked for hours but couldn't find it, so I started looking through my wife's stuff. I looked for papers and couldn't find them, but I did find my wife's bank account. I only quickly looked through it. She said that after taxes, her pay was about $6,000 a month after her last promotion, which was about a year ago. Statement, on the other hand, showed a very different picture. In a month, her business got several credits, but none of them were worth more than $6,000. They were between $1,000 and $4,000, but not a whole number. For a month, I added them up to see if they added up to $6,000. They didn't. I also tried to figure out if she got paid every week or every 2 weeks, but the numbers didn't add up. The total amount of money added up over the course of a month was about $10,000. I had to look through her closet some more because I was interested. There was nothing else I could find. I did nothing but look at the bank statement because she wasn't home. Next, I realized the bill came from a former bank. I didn't say which one to protect privacy, but I knew she had an account at Y Bank. It was clear to me that X Bank was not her pay account. I asked her, "Hey, did you change your salary account from Y Bank to a different one?" during dinner that same day. "No," she said. I stated, "Do you have an account in X Bank?" When her body woke up, she turned pale and said, No, I don't have an account with X Bank. Why do you want to know this?" When she asked what I was talking about, I told her that X Bank had some great deals for women on Women's Day. I just looked at her. It made her feel bad. I gave her time to talk to me about it, but she didn't. Once she was done with dinner, she went straight to bed. I wanted to talk to her right then, but I didn't because I wanted to give her time to think. I had to wait a week. For a few days, she looked awake and tense. But after a week, she went back to being herself, which made me mad. She didn't mind keeping me in the dark, no matter what the reason was. I just couldn't hold back. The next weekend, I gave her the bank balance and asked her to explain what was going on. She got scared and asked me how I found it. When I told her the truth, she quickly turned the conversation back to me and blamed me for being in her space. I told her I wasn't going to be moved by her games and asked her to explain herself. She refused to answer. We had a fight all day Saturday. I told her I would send the information to her business if she didn't give me a reason to keep the truth about the new bank account and the strange credits a secret. It was almost evening. It hit when I threw this shot in the dark. She agreed to tell the truth, but only after I promised not to tell anyone else about this. I said yes. She talked about how she found a flaw in the way her company handled money. If an employee is smart, they could easily steal money from the business. Even though she didn't want to abuse it at first, her rising desire to own expensive things made her do it. I was amazed. I never in a million years thought my wife was a liar. I asked her what gave her the guts to pull off such a scam. She said she had only tested it once with a small amount. If she got caught, she planned to just cry her way out of it by saying she was careless. Fraud charges are rarely brought against you if the amount is small. The company could just fire you instead. She agreed to play, so she did. Later, when the amount went over $1,000, she changed her bank account to be safer. I couldn't understand what was being said. It's weird that I didn't yell at her, I just kept looking at her. Perhaps because she kept me in the dark, this didn't feel right to me, even though I'm not a saint. She did cheat on me too, in a way. I asked her why she kept all of this from me. She said I wouldn't have agreed with her. I said nothing. I wasn't mad either. I really didn't know what to do at that point. I told her to leave the company and stop making a fuss before she got caught and hurt her job. She said yes. Over the next few days, both she and I were antsy. We didn't talk to each other though. I asked her if she had thought about leaving the group after a week. She said she was happy at that job and didn't want to leave. It was also clear to her that she would not be caught. I gave her a serious look and told her not to do it again. It's been 2 weeks since then, and I'm still not happy. I believe I will be okay if Anna quits the business. I could be sure she'd be out of this mess that way. She doesn't want to leave the company though. What do you guys think? Will she still steal the money from me? Please suggest a way to handle things that is in the middle. Take a look. First off, dude, your mom is a real badass. It sounds like she likes Stockholm money heist. Anyone else can comment. If you want to find a middle ground, send an email to HR or the CEO without giving your name. I don't know whose email you get today. Give them a hint that they are laundering money in their company. Let them dig the rest. I hope this helps. She's making a lot of money and not getting caught, so it sounds like she doesn't want to leave. She only sees dollar signs right now, so she doesn't see what will happen. Thus, it's likely that she's still living in a very risky way and involving you in her activities. The way you feel about this is okay. Your wife is being very careless by acting this way. It looks like her friends are teaching her some bad habits that are affecting important parts of her life. The first update. Hey everyone, thanks for the tips. After talking to some of you, I thought about sending a private email, but I couldn't. For this, I didn't want to put my marriage at risk. I know I was mean when I put my marriage ahead of my morals. Don't be mad at me, okay? Things changed a lot after that. If I had not sent those emails, I might not have known the worst part of the matter. After the fight, 2 months went by, and she still worked at the same business. But I didn't see any new, expensive clothes added to our closet. It made me feel better that she wasn't doing that anymore. However, this whole thing kept bothering me. About a month ago, I was mindlessly going through social media when I had an idea. I began looking for her coworkers on social media. I added Anna to my account, and her coworkers were added to hers, making it easy for me to find them. I found her boss's page after following some of her coworkers that I had met at a few social events. His profile picture, a beautiful beach house, made me want to look into him more. As I read through his page, I saw that he was living a fancy life. There were lots of pictures of him having fun in the lounge of a 5-star hotel and on holiday in some of the most exotic places in the country. And everyone knows that with a $7,000 a month pay and a child, that kind of living can't be afforded. I kept scrolling down and saw that his life got better just a year ago. That was the first time the shots showed shady places. Was your boss also involved in the fraud? I asked my wife right away, without giving it a second thought. When asked, she said, yeah, kind of. I was shocked. What kind of answer was that? I asked her what was going on. She said that her boss knew about it, but he still let her steal the money. It didn't work for me. When I looked at her boss's profile, I told her it was clear that he was involved in the fraud because a normal finance manager couldn't afford to live that way. She didn't care about it because she knew he came from a rich family. While I did my homework, I told her she had to stop being so rude. I told her that I had looked over his whole picture and saw that in a year, he had changed everything about his life. To make sense of it, she said that he would have had some money from a gift. I went crazy over her stupid reason. Anyone with a brain would know that she made all of these things up. I told her in a firm voice to tell the truth. We argued for hours about the same thing, and she blamed me for following her coworkers around. Finally, she admitted that her boss was also involved and that they shared the money. I questioned her on the reason she didn't tell me this during our first encounter. She told me it didn't matter. It was my wish to hit a wall or hers with my head. I told her to quit the company right away. She told me there was nothing she was hiding when I asked her. This didn't make me sure that this was the end of the finding. I was sure that they were still going to dig up something. As you might have guessed, I also smelled an affair. In this case, it seems like the most logical thing to do, right? Following several hours of being antsy, I went straight to her and asked, "Are you having an affair with your boss, aren't you?" She was shocked. She tried to say something, but I looked at her deeply and said, "Don't even try to lie. I have all the proof." Who knows where the confidence came from that I could pull that off. Even so, I wasn't playing. Going with my gut, I was responding on autopilot. She gave up and began to cry. As tears came down her face, my heart sank. I asked her to describe everything in great detail. She did it at last. It really scared me. When Anna stole money for the first time, she thought she was smart enough to get away with it. She had no idea that her boss had caught her the first time but didn't say anything to her about it. In fact, he was the one who gave her permission to do surveys, which led her to steal even more money. When the amount got really big, he approached her and told her how smart she was for finding a way to make money. He also told her how brave she was to do it. He offered to work with her if he could keep her safe. He said he waited a month before jumping on the train to see if anyone else could catch her. No one else was able to. It's possible that no one but her boss got in the way of her audit work, so it was easy for them to get away. As a way to work together, the boss asked her to sleep with him once. He promised to tell everyone about her, but she denied it. She said he lied to her to get her to sleep with him. I asked her why she didn't tell me about it. She said she couldn't ask for help now because she would have been found out because she didn't do what her boss told her to do. I asked her if that was the only time she didn't say anything. I pushed her to speak up. She said that after their first date, the boss liked her and demanded that they keep going out. She began to enjoy it too. I hid my face in my hands in shock. I had a feeling this was going to happen. One last time, I asked her if she was hiding anything else. "No," she said. I snuck into my room and locked it from the inside. I had no idea what to do. I read a lot of "Am I the a-hole?" and other confession subreddits, but I couldn't think of anything. Sunday came around. For the rest of the day, I kept to myself. She sent me a message asking for forgiveness and promising to fix things with me. I didn't feel anything when she said she was quitting her job. How come you're giving up when the damage is already done? I knew I couldn't see her the same way I used to. I'm not going to love her the same way. The most important thing is that I never trust her. I didn't do much work at work the next day. There were lots of thoughts of getting even in my head. She was home when I got back. She always got there an hour after me. As I walked into the house, she held my hand. She said she would do anything to make things better between us. I asked her to admit that she had lied and tell her boss's boss about it. She stopped moving. She said she was not able to do it. She said she didn't want to take away her boss's job because he was the family's main source of income and had just had a child. I told her she had no morals when she slept with him, even though she knew he was going to be a dad soon or had already become a dad. I stated, "Fine, confess your crime to your management." It wasn't true. When they got into a fight, she told him that her boss had filmed them making out the first time and told her he would release the video if she ever betrayed him. If I had a knife with me at that very moment, I would have pushed it into her chest. She kept hiding one thing after another, even though I asked her many times to tell me everything. I told her she had to get on her laptop right away and show me all the facts. She kept asking me what I was going to do. For sure, they did what I said after I went crazy. She saw me in that character for the first time in 7 years. I saw myself in that image for the first time in 35 years. I was acting like a gangster when I told my hostage what to do. She got into her laptop and showed me what she had done. She had a box with all the records of everything that had been done with her and her boss's accounts. The folder also had a film clip of their first time making out together. It looks like I took her laptop, plugged in my USB, and moved all the files, including that movie. She tried to take it back, but I held on tight and told her that if she didn't cooperate, our wedding would be over. She finally gave up and cried and begged for the rest of the night. I drank a bottle of rum and a few cans of beer, then passed out. It was gross and made me sick. Monday was the same day at work as the next day. During the day, I thought about what to do next. It was important to me to get back at them. I went to the website for her company and looked up the email addresses of people who were important. I found the HR and director's email addresses as well as general contact information. Afterward, I spent the next 2 hours writing a story very much like this one, including all the proof I got from her the day before. I also told her about their affair, but I didn't send the video. After writing a long email, I looked at the send button for hours before I finally closed my eyes and pressed it. I now have the wife of his boss on my social media account. I added her that day when I was following the boss around. I sent her a few clips of the film and told her who I was and what I had found. She read all the texts right away and called me. I wasn't home when she called because I was at work. She begged me not to tell the boss about her husband because that would mean he would lose his job. I shouldn't hurt his job by saying that he was the only one making money for the family with a baby. The email was already sent, though. To keep myself from going on a guilt trip, I didn't talk to that woman. Anna gave me a copy of her departure letter when I got home, which meant she had quit her job. She also said that she had severed all links with everyone at work and had blocked her boss from all social media sites. She had agreed with HR that she would pay for the notice time instead of having to give it. I looked down my nose at her and didn't say a word about what I did. Today is Friday. I heard back from my wife's company's human resources department. They thanked me for the proof and promised to look into it properly. It's hard for me to decide if I should be happy that I got even because I'm afraid that it will lead to serious charges against my wife and that the manager's family will be ruined for good. Since then, I haven't talked to her. I have no idea what the future holds for me. I can't keep going with Anna because I don't feel good around her. I'm thinking about going to therapy to get my thoughts straight. I feel bad about getting even though I think I did. Let's hear a few more thoughts. It sounds like a treasure hunt, says the first one. Every time you dig, you find something new. I think you should get a divorce and move on. You're not very old to be in this mess. Best of luck. Move out as soon as possible before your wife goes to jail, says the next reply. Get away from her before she drags you into the prison. She's just a player. Oh no, she's really woven a web here. Any way you look at it, you're going to be pulled into this. It's true what people say. The best thing you can do is stay away from this woman you thought you knew. She's living her life like nothing will happen to her. She hasn't thought about you, your safety, or your health in a long time. That's a very selfish thing to do. Let's not talk about whether you trust her or not. People who love you or deserve your love wouldn't put you in such a dangerous position, Opie. Change 2. Hey everyone, thanks for your help. While I hadn't planned to, some of you asked me to, so here we are. Just 1 week after HR replied, my wife got a call from the company asking her to come to the office for a check. She said no, but she was told that she would be sued if she didn't follow through. The manager was put on leave while the probe took place. So, my wife quit her job at the same time I sent my email, and the company thought she had sent them the proof without giving her name before she quit. The way she quit also seemed sketchy, since she just disappeared without giving warning. She told them everything right in front of them. But she's a smartass. She knew that she had to email those proofs because it was the right thing to do. In short, the company didn't charge her with fraud as a prize for blowing the whistle. Instead, she was blacklisted, which means she will never be able to work again. The boss was found guilty because she let her keep working with her even though she caught her the first time. You know how HR rules work. I got a text from the manager's wife during this time. She said Anna and I messed up her house. I rolled my eyes and pushed her away. I wasn't ready for more trouble. Anna tried to fix our broken relationship, but I wasn't ready to let her in. I kept feeling disgusted when I saw her. I really wanted to get rid of her because her voice bothered me. There was more than one fling Anna was having. There are many ways to cheat. She could have just stopped at any of the stops and talked to me, but she didn't. To make things even worse, she kept hiding the knowledge even when they were arguing. I had to go to more than one class to learn everything. A month ago, I told her I was ending our marriage. She begged me to give her another chance, but I wouldn't. She said she would lose everything. Her company is on a blacklist, which shows up on background checks, so she can't get another good job. She said I hurt her job and then left her, so she blamed me. Right now, I don't care as much about what she said. I only want to handle myself and get rid of her. It looks like this is the only way out. The divorce papers were the only thing that really made it hit me. She said yes, so I told her to get a divorce without a fight, or I would go to court and use the videos to make my point. After signing, she left the house. It made me feel empty, but it was the only way for me to get better. I don't want to spend my whole life stuck. I'm going to keep going to therapy. Any advice you could give on how to heal would be great. Thanks a lot. When things like this happen, it's always right to look out for ourselves and focus on getting better. In no way did she have the right to put you in such a dark place. I'm sorry that things turned out the way they did. Going to therapy is a great way to start and think about the next steps. We hope that the way forward becomes clear in due course.